It was supposed to be so different this year. 2019, the year of institutional investment. 2019, the year of backed, the ETF, Goldman Sachs, Nasdaq, JP Morgan, the top 5 Wall Street investment banks. But instead, we've got the market plummeting $8 billion. We've got Bitcoin plummeting to $3,370. What the hell is going on? Why is it happening? And what should you do about it? That's what we are going to be discussing in today's episode of Savage Cash. Hello beautiful people, it's Suppoman back again. Smile and smash the like. Now I know that I said Suppoman is back. And people are probably thinking, oh Suppoman, where the hell did you go? You made a video 3 days ago. Where's the consistency? Fact of the matter is that I have had issues setting up of the new studio. So therefore it's been a little bit problematic. But what I want you to know is that I plan on being consistent daily once again. You've just got to bear with me. So let's have a look and see what's going on. So the cryptocurrency market today stands at $112 billion market cap, a currently $7 billion decrease from yesterday. The top 10 best performing cryptocurrencies today include 6 stable coins, whilst most of the small cap coins have had a tremendous double-digit loss today. Well, this is not a surprise. When the price of Bitcoin goes down, small cap coins lose roughly triple what Bitcoin does. So it's not really a surprise that a lot of today's cryptocurrencies have drastically fallen in value. But what is going on with Bitcoin? As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of sell volume today. The bears are beating the bulls. Bitcoin is hovering around oversold territory. And as you can see, the red candle for Bitcoin is underneath the trade volume. There is significant trade volume above 3,500, but it is nowhere near that level, and as such it has fallen into the low trade volume area. When it falls into the low trade volume area, it leaves it susceptible to a big loss. It can essentially free fall unless there is a support line which helps it recover. And as you can see here, at the 3,400 zone, at the bottom of this high transaction zone, it has found some support. Now, something that I really want to turn your attention to is the 200 weekly moving average. The 200 weekly moving average represents a trend that the Bitcoin price has very rarely fallen below. Now, for this, I'm using the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. This is because it has one of the longest histories for Bitcoin on TradingView. And as you can see here, in the period of the last bear market, the price of Bitcoin fell below that 200 moving average just twice, and the last time it did, it spiked up to cause a megarific recovery bull market. Now, as it stands at the moment, the Bitcoin price is now hovering above that 200 weekly moving average. What it means is that Bitcoin has not yet broken below that support line. Should it break below, it could signal two things. It could signal a further fall in the price of Bitcoin, and or breaking it could signal the return of volume coming back into the market. So this trend line proves to be incredibly pivotal to the price of Bitcoin. Should it fall below this support line, we could be seeing a drastic fall in the price of Bitcoin. We could be seeing it going to the 3,000 mark. We could be seeing it going lower. I certainly estimate that the bottom is around about $2,700. But Bitcoin has held that support. Now, should you be buying the dip today? Have we potentially hit the bottom? Because even though the ETF is not going to happen in Q1 2019 and may not happen in 2020, the price of Bitcoin has not reflected that terrible news. So what that means is that we've probably seen a lot of shaking out of the market. So we are definitely approaching a bottom. But have we hit the bottom? It's dangerous to call these things out, but I don't think so. But the bottom is relative. The price has been hovering around the low 3,000 zone. Now, if a catalyst If a big piece of news came into the market, it would suddenly make the market react a bit like how a load of Mentos sweets were to mix with Coke. It would cause an explosion. It would cause the market to astronomically blow up and spike up from the point we are at. So it could be the case that at any point, if we get some big news, for instance, Bact's launch, should we be getting that kind of catalyst, a spike is very, very likely. And dependent on the time that news hits the market will be where the potential bottom is. So it really does rely on big market news. Why the Bitcoin price suddenly spiked from 5,500 to 20,000 was because of major news. It was because of the CME CBOE Bitcoin futures market having this catalyst effect on the price of Bitcoin. So such news needs to hit the market in order for the price to have a similar increase as it has had before. So what is the current state of play with these potential catalyst events? Bact is still awaiting regulatory approval from the CFTC. In the absence of an approval from the CFTC, there is no launch date. There is not a date, certainly that the mass market can see, that they can get excited about cryptocurrency. Now, in terms of dates, I'm not going to lie to you, and you should know this already. Whales know before you know. Therefore, prices going down could reflect the fact they know we don't know, and as a result, they're bringing the prices down so they can buy it cheap. They are stopping wash trading. They are trying to make a halt on market making so that they get the prices down and they can buy up cheap in anticipation of when that news comes out to the masses. Once it comes out to the masses, that's when we're going to see the prices spike up. But the masses are last to know. There's news for the classes, there's news for the masses. So what that means is we have got to just sit tight and wait for it. The Bitcoin ETF may not happen anytime soon. Maybe 2020. For the first time in more than a year, there are no active Bitcoin ETF proposals pending before the US Securities and Exchange Commission. It is possible that an ETF may be approved by the end of the year. It will depend on when an ETF proposal is filed and the state of the Bitcoin markets when the SEC makes its decision. Now, this is vitally important. An ETF proposal needs to be submitted relatively soon. Once a proposal is filed, the SEC has 240 days to approve or deny it. So 240 days from here means the latter part of 2019. So there needs to be a relatively quick turnaround from the pullout of the CBOE last week. Now, one of the things that stood in the way of an ETF was this government shutdown, because there was a likelihood the ETF could be approved by default. But this shutdown has ended, or at least temporarily anyway. But even in the absence of that, 240 days from now, the shutdown of the government will be old news. So it makes sense to put a submission through, but there needs to be that product, that ETF product that is supported by market surveillance and a reliable custody and insurance solution that makes sure that investors do not lose money. Other news today that could be having an effect is this. Chat app Kick says it will fight SEC over possible ICO action. Essentially, the SEC will have a problem with cryptocurrencies that are actually securities. Securities essentially enable profit sharing for holders. Now, I remember the 30th of January last year, in 2 days' time essentially, where we had an influx of bearish news which brought the market to its knees. And this particular narrative could be having an effect today. Other negative news is that the Liqui exchange has decided to shut down. We've decided to close all accounts and stop providing our services, and it broke our hearts to do that. You may be able to withdraw your digital assets through our website within 30 days after this message was sent. So this further encourages you to make sure you're keeping your cryptocurrencies on a wallet, a cold storage wallet. I have actually used Liqui. I used Liqui last year to buy either DNT or Binance, but what I did was I immediately sent those tokens back to my wallet. Should I not have been able to see this message, had I just avoided it in my inbox, the likelihood would be So my funds would be gone forever. So you've got to be very safe with your cryptocurrencies. And also you've got to take from this could be a sign of things to come should the bear market continue to bring cryptocurrencies down to lower values than they are now. Also in the news, BitTorrent was bought by the Tron network recently and they decided to hold an ICO. BitTorrent is essentially a peer-to-peer file sharing system. It's been used a lot for piracy. It seems weird they would monetize this process. And so therefore, I've not been interested at all in this BitTorrent ICO, even though it's got an incredibly high hype factor and quite a low risk factor given the price versus the supply. And as a result, because there's a lot of greed, there's a lot of people that want to take some profits and run. There's a lot of people that know that the hype is going to have a temporary spike on the price and they're going to be able to cash out and make some profits. And as such, the BitTorrent ICO completed its 7.12 million USD fundraise on Binance Launchpad in less than 15 minutes. Now, the combination of Tron and Binance is a big reason why this sold out. Binance holding this event gave it a sense of credibility. Being a Tron-based company, there's also that hype factor because so many people love Tron. Tron is one of the most hyped coins, not only in the media, not only from the cryptocurrency ecosystem, but also from the whale community as well. It's a hugely market-made cryptocurrency. I have absolutely no doubt this is going to have a very good initial spike. Just like what happened with Grin when it went to $250+ on its first day. It's since corrected down to around about the late $2. I managed to get a small stake at $3.91 or thereabouts. But I was waiting for it to crash a little bit further for the hype to escape the cryptocurrency so that I could get Grin much, much cheaper. Having said that, since that point, Grin has gone on to go over $13. But Grin, in my opinion, has the technology that backs up the price. The BitTorrent ICO just doesn't. Tron is essentially a marketing-based cryptocurrency. It's not really a technological excellence, but it is marketing excellence. And so as a result, you can't deny the fact that anything that's related to Tron has appeal. Having said that, does it have the fundamentals to back it up? In my opinion, Grin does. BitTorrent hasn't. But I'm going to wait till Grin comes down. With the price of Bitcoin going down 4%, Grin has essentially tripled that loss. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin and see if there's a good Grin buy-in opportunity. Something else which is important to acknowledge is there have been a lot of people mining Grin. So they are going to be looking for opportunities to take profits at high prices, meaning there could be a good opportunity to buy in. Anyway, peeps, that is it for today's episode of Savage Cash. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that it gave you a lot of information. I hope it's made you feel better. So make sure that you continue to watch the Suppoman as I will attempt to bring you daily videos. Till next time, peeps, it is lights out, all out.